This is Career Quest, and today I'm so excited because I have with me Michael Pipillo, and he is the head chef de cuisine over at Grove Park Omni Hotel and Resorts. Michael, thank you for being here with us.
It's been a pleasure to have me, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, our audience that we kind of talk to with Career Quest is a youthful audience looking for, what kind of career they might want to go into. Particularly in culinary, we're working with some students in that field. And if you would kind of start, tell us your journey of how you got to the Omni, but start way back at the beginning. Did you go to school for this? What kind of experience did you have to get along the way to lead you to where you are?
Well, thank you for having me in that specific question. That question is a perfect question from way from the beginning, where I'm hard of hearing and wear 2 hearing aids. So it's hard for me to hear on the phone and to get around with other atmosphere. So I started cooking, and since my family was cooking just basic Italian food.
Okay.
So from eating pasta every night, back in old school.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to change that. So I went to the culinary school, and it just clicked on me, and it grew from that aspect. So basically, they had like a BOCES program. They have 2 years out of your high school from sophomore to senior year, and they teach you everything, all the aspects of culinary that you need and all the tools that you need for you to go into this industry. So I just wanted to feel like I want to make people happy. In order to do this, I had to do something creative. I can't hear on the phone because I'm new into technology. It's got a boom with computers, lots of communications on the phone.
Yeah.
I can do that. So I want to say I can, but it was just more harder for me to make people happy over the phone. I don't want to miss any missed conversations and get confusion. So I'd rather present my art and technique, what's in front of them.
Yeah.
That's some great food, some cool food, tasting foods to make a big smile on their face and have some experience with that.
I love that. I love how you talk about using your art, your creativity, your skill to make people happy through food.
Right.
I've thought about that a little bit of how food is a very intimate thing that you're sharing with somebody, whether it's around a dinner table or just going to a nice restaurant. And when you have that dish that just explodes in your mouth, it's a connection you've made with that person.
It's also a conversation starter, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So just being with what they had, and it's like, hey, I had that, that kind of dish, and it's like, maybe we should have tried something different and composed that dish together.
Right.
It was like more like a chef conversation to start off with. Yeah.
So you mentioned high school, and you started getting into culinary there. I think you even mentioned maybe some contests and stuff. Did you then go on to do that for secondary, like a college or something?
It was basically a starter for me to get into college. I joined the ATF, and with the competition, I came in first place. And within the second place because there was a tie. So I'd rather take the second place and consider myself much a first place winner, But other than that, that helped me get the scholarship, what I need to get into the CIA, which is the Culinary Institute of America in Poughkeepsie, Hyde Park.
I was going to say, you're starting to use some acronyms because you used one, ATF. Is that something? What does that stand for?
That is the American Culinary Federation.
Oh, okay.
It's a program for people who want to showcase and learn the basic chefs what's out in different restaurants.
Gotcha.
And it's a club that they can get certified for. If you want to be certified executive chef and stuff like that, there's some stages you can go within the club. I had to X out the club because I went to the club. I went to the school, and the culinary school gave me a lot what I needed to expectations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that experience at the college. What are some things that you picked up? Is it pretty strenuous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very tough school. I'd rather go into a Swiss school and be very serious about it.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes where people say, damn, maybe. I don't think maybe. You have to have the courage and passion that you have. Because there's no maybe, yes, no, yes. You have to say, yes, I'm going to do it. And you got to have confidence. Without that confidence, that school is very tough. So if you miss like 2 classes, you're going to have to take the whole class again. So that's one of those strict guidelines that they had before. They basically, it just tells you from A to Z. So there's different programs within 2 weeks. There's from block A to Z. So basically each block is a different course.
Okay.
So with that being said, it's like first course would be math. You learn the different types of math that what you need.
Okay.
And then it goes into butchering, and then it goes to butchering, and it goes into all different stages to get into what the career path that you need to be.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned math, and that's not something that jumps in my head when I think culinary, but of course, with all the measuring and proportions of things.
And
yeah,
recipes, and breaking down recipes to, if you're serving 1,000 people, you break it down to one person.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the challenges that people go through, you know.
So when you first got into this field, did you ever receive any kind of advice from a mentor or anything that you can remember that was very helpful for you?
Yeah, I have quite a few. They just told me, it's like, hey, Mike, you know, don't let anything stop you. There's no roadblock, because you got to keep plowing through, and then when you go plow through it, you reach to the stars.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm sure on your trajectory to where you are, you've had to climb a little bit of a ladder of some sort.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about some of the places you've been prior to your position here and how they've kind of lined you up for being a head chef.
Well, when I graduated from the CIA, and there was a place called Panama Hatties in Huntington, and it was 5-star, you know, and it was 3 stars in Wall Street Journal, and so it was pretty much very popular. I wanted to get in there, so I worked on the side at a good offset catering, private catering, until I finally got this position. So when I got into this position, it was an amazing experience. So you're working with the best of the best. And that's all I did. Get your foot in the door for the work. Work for the best of the best. And that way you can learn from what they were doing. They have great experience from that. So with that, I did that for 4 years. And I was like, it's time for me. Because basically what I did was I put a lot of heart into it. So I shower, work, shower, and go to bed. So it's like what I did for the past 4 years, and I gained a lot.
Right.
So and I was like, let's take a break. So I took a life break, and I went to France. So I went to France for a good month. So I traveled around France, and I even visited some family in Italy too as well.
Nice.
And then I came back. Then my cousin decided to open up an Italian restaurant and a pizzeria. So I said, hey, I'll help you, you know, so from my experience. So I helped him, and I ran the restaurant part, and he did the pizzeria part, and we worked together. And one of my friends came from France, came back and worked to Florida, and worked for the Ritz-Carlton in Palm Beach. And his name is Christopher Roth. He's a great guy. So he sent me over. So I went to the tasting over at the Ritz. They sent me in, but they didn't give me the position that I really wanted. But it was just step foot in the door.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. Right. You need to step your foot in that door and then see what you got. And I went from a cook 3 to a cook 1 within 6 months. So they wanted to see what I got. So I showed them, and then that was that. And then I just grew from there. Then I worked in the banquet kitchen for a good 5 years and became the banquet chef for the previous 4 years. So what that time being is that we became #1 in the hotel in banquet food. So that's what I got into that. And then it was just time for me to leave the company. I wanted to squeeze my sponge, explore my knowledge to the people. And I started working privately. And then worked privately for a good 8 years with different areas. So it's more like a wedding vendor. And then I went to regular pizzeria catering also. And then I went back to Asheville for work for the venue for a good 4 years.
Okay, that's how you got here. Okay.
Yeah, so did that, and then I became, when COVID hit, it was a big damage. Big damage. So when they did some cuts, so I was like, I have to get back in corporate.
Yeah.
So I went back to corporate, and this is where I am.
Yeah. Wow. So I normally don't even ask this too often for people, but I think in this case I'd like to, is just what kind of time span was it from start to where you are today? And actually, what I'm really getting at too is what in that amount of time can you grow financially speaking? So what can somebody expect as, say, a starting out position versus a head chef position in this industry?
Well, it's all about the person. How much energy, how much passion they have, how hungry they're going to be.
Gotcha.
It all depends on the tools they are provided. If you provide those tools and use those tools that have been given from your mentor, you can go anywhere. If you put your mind to it, and if you really want it, you can get it.
Okay. What kind of salaries are we talking about at the top?
What's that?
What kind of salary are we talking about at the top?
You can reach up to 100 to 150,000.
Yeah.
But I'm reaching for that too. I'm not there yet, but I will be.
Awesome.
So take some time.
Yeah.
But down the road, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning with different varieties of people, different diversity of people.
Right.
Managing and teaching and organization it's one big happy family, to tell you the truth, for Harmony Grove Park. So.
Well, Michael, this has been a really informative conversation. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.